buongiorno, and happy Friday. Last week, we did not have an episode go out because I was pretty busy. I had a safety course that I was partaking in, and the safety course was 2 days long, but 10 hours each day. So it kind of took a lot out of me, surprisingly. And there was a lot of studying and tests involved. So I'm just glad that's out of the way. Didn't leave a whole lot of time to work towards Fox and Toad magazine, but I did do a few minor updates to our social media, which that's what I want to talk about in this episode. Social media presence for an upcoming publishing company. So, as most of you may know by now, if you listen to like the past at least two episodes, I am working on transitioning the Greystone Manor from a community into a publishing company. And the first publication that we have as a publishing company is Fox and Toad magazine. And it has been interesting learning about social media and posting times. And some posts actually get suppressed. I did not think that this was true until it actually happened to me. And for anybody out there that is working on building a brand, building a company, just kind of trying to do maybe a little side hustle because you want to work from home, here are a few tips that I have and that I've learned along the way. Uh, Number one, you want to have your presence on as many social media platforms as possible. Although this is going to be draining, possibly cause burnout, possibly cause overstimulation, it is definitely worth it. I have noticed for myself that Facebook is trending a lot easier than it is on Instagram, Discord. I didn't even attempt a TikTok because, God, I have no idea what to film for videos. I'm just great at snapping photos and putting them in a pretty aesthetic way. That's about it. We might get a TikTok. Who knows? I really don't think we're going to trend well on that platform. What else? What other platforms are we on? And Patreon. How could I forget that? And YouTube. So between those solid four platforms that we're on, I've noticed Facebook is trending a lot better. And I'm going to assume this because of what I've seen. I'm pretty sure the magazine and the publishing company are doing a lot better on Facebook because Facebook has practically turned into a business platform. I have seen so many small businesses, instead of opening up their own website, will use Facebook. They will do lives where they can sell some of their merchandise or materials or whatnot. I've seen businesses use it to kind of keep engagement in their product or their brand. I've also seen a lot of businesses actually like and follow my own business page. So it's kind of been like a scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. So I tend to follow those businesses back. Oh my gosh, sorry. There's traffic going by my window and I have it cracked open since it's a nice breeze. So if you can hear anything, I'm sorry. So again, Facebook pretty well. When it comes to Instagram, I'm noticing that's a little bit harder to branch out on because the content that we have is copyright, and I have to be very careful of what I put out on the platform because I have to publish the magazine. After I publish the magazine, take it to print. After I get print, I have to go through all of the magazines, pick out the best looking one, and then mail it out with the form to get copyright. A lot of people may not know this, but when you apply for copyright, especially when it comes to a physical item like a book, a journal, a magazine, so on and so forth, copyright requires you, the office does, requires you to send the quote unquote best printed version so that they can keep it for records. And I have to kind of hold my breath a little bit every time I file because it does take, depending on how well you've gotten with filing, it takes on a quick turnaround 4 weeks, on a long turnaround 9 months. So that means all of that material for the current publication, like right now we have fall out for Fox and Toad magazine. Fall, I have to be careful posting anything about the articles, especially on Instagram and especially on Facebook, because that is copyright material that I'm waiting to get back. So Instagram has been a little rough. You can also only post so many magazine photos before people get the idea of this is what the magazine's about. I'm not even going to buy it now because I'm just going to look at the photos. So that's been a little rough. Next, we have our YouTube channel. And this has been kind of like a weird growing platform, very slow. I started with kind of doing pick a card readings, energy readings, just because that's something that I really enjoy doing. Then it kind of turned into, well, if this is going to be more of a publishing company, what should I put on here? So I started researching other large publishers, seeing if they have YouTube channels, and Penguin Group does. They have one for the US and the UK. And a lot of their content, because they're well established, is interviewing authors that are then at the end of the video supporting and putting information out about their most recent published book. And it got me thinking, I could do something like this, but I'm not well established. A lot of the people who are submitting are authors that actually don't want to put their legal name out there sometimes, because the stuff that we discuss is spirituality. It's a little bit more on the metaphysical side of things. Because it's on the metaphysical side of things, there could be a potential backlash. A quick little plug here for anybody that's not aware. Right now, Pennsylvania is kind of dealing with a law about fortune telling. There is a shop that experienced some type of harassment, and they are rightfully so fighting back, trying to get this law overturned, abolished, like some type of update to it. So again, for myself and for future writers of Fox and Toad magazine, we're using pseudonyms. We're trying to be not as out there or as available. So doing interviews with authors just doesn't feel 100% right for this time for the Greystone Manor, and especially for Fox and Toad magazine. So I figured, well, I think I'm going to just keep moving forward with the coloring content. And I was actually thinking of looking at some of our articles and seeing if I can turn them into video content. So this way, if somebody maybe didn't understand an article too well, like in our fall magazine, we have a pumpkin chili recipe. That might be a good video idea, saying, hey, here's the pumpkin chili. We're going to make it together. If you want more information, pick up a copy and you can get the recipe yourself. So we're kind of trying to look more in that direction for YouTube. And then our last platform is Patreon. Patreon, a lot of YouTubers use to help supplement income from not having to rely on AdSense. And one of the biggest things that I have been kind of against, and I've also had a few of my friends, push back to try to change my opinion on this. I don't want advertisements. I don't want advertisements unless it's done in a respectful and not pushy way. And that's one of the reasons why I started the Patreon. I actually updated it now. So we have a $3 tier and we have a $6 tier. The $3 tier gives you access to the digital download of the magazine every 3 months when it's released. The physical tier, it's kind of the opposite of that. It gives you the physical copy of the magazine every 3 months. So there's that. Patreon is kind of very slow growing for me. I don't know what extra content to put on there, but me and my new business partner, we are brainstorming some ideas to really boost the Patreon so that people feel it's worth paying like the $3 or the $6 each month. Tip number 2 for businesses that are upcoming and dealing with social media. Posts with external links will most likely be suppressed. I have first noticed this during our summer publication back in June when I was trying to really amp up the release of summer. I would put the link to our Etsy where people could buy it. I would put the link to our Patreon. I would also put the link to our YouTube channel for when we released the coloring video. And those posts had the least amount of engagement. Like I'm talking maybe at max 5 people would like the post. That's it. No comments, nothing else. And those 5 people were mostly my friends and family. So links tend to get really suppressed, at least on Facebook and even Instagram, because I can only say link in bio so many times before people just kind of get tired of reading that. A way around that, if you do rely on external links for people to purchase your product or to view where your website might be or to view video content, the best thing that I have found so far is I would create a photo. So maybe in Canva, or you could even use, I think it's like you have PixArt, you have Instagram, Layout, what else? Oh, Color Story. You can just make up a photo, like make up a photo grid of maybe some of the things that you're going to be linking people to. So if you have, for us, we have a magazine. So I take the magazine, a few nature photos, and maybe pictures of crystals that are in the magazine. I will put them all together in a photo, upload the photo, and then in the comment section or underneath the photo, I'll add the link. And I've noticed those posts don't get suppressed as easily because it's a little bit more hidden on where you're putting your link. So that's a good little tip for anybody else out there that would like to, bring people to your Etsy, your website, your YouTube without being suppressed. Tip number 3 that I have for being on social media: schedule your posts. Just do it. I schedule a batch usually for like a week, maybe 2 weeks out, because I used to wait until I had content to make a post. And honestly, that was more draining than making the entire batch in one day. So what I'm getting at is varied the content. Maybe make a photo, do a video, do a poll, do a little shout out. Since we are metaphysical, we celebrate the Sabbaths, at least here in Greystone Manor. So I schedule posts for, happy midsummer. Same thing with coming up with the fall equinox. I already have a post scheduled for the fall equinox, so I know that day is covered. I also really like scheduling polls. I'm noticing polls are trending a little bit better for me because I will put on there like, what's your favorite magazine, and give the 4 options, or saying, hey, which article did you like the most? Give options. One of the last polls that I recently put was, did you get your fall magazine yet? Yes or no? And surprisingly, a lot of people said yes. So I was happy to see that. So just finding like small little ways to vary your posts and schedule them out is going to be really beneficial for fending off that burnout that is definitely right around the corner when you have to deal with social media. What was another thing? Oh, posting on weekends does not do really well. Me personally, I've noticed that any post on sometimes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they do not trend as well. I'm guessing because one, the weather is really nice right now, at least here in Pennsylvania. And number two, I really don't think people are really on social media that much on weekends because I my posts are scheduled for the morning time. So this way, in case like if anybody wakes up, it's the first thing they see, or through as the day goes by, they'll hopefully be able to see it. But yeah, the weekends just don't seem to trend really well. The best days for me are Tuesday, Wednesday, which surprises me because I know a lot of brick and mortar businesses are very slow, usually on Tuesdays, Mondays, Tuesdays. But for some reason, online, Tuesdays and Wednesdays have been really good hits for me. And then my last tip, tip number 4, for a small business or company or even side hustle growing on social media, I would say take downtime. Uh, the best part is that I'm working on right now is not explaining or apologizing too much for missing things. It's that if you need a break, take the break. And if people don't understand that, then you can try to explain it to them and say, listen, it's becoming a little too much. I need like a day of rest and recovery before I can jump back into this. Another good parameter to set are business hours. So, my new business partner and we've discussed this a little bit in length about what would be a good idea for us. And our operating times are going to be Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it doesn't mean that we're sitting at a desk from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. It just means that's when we're going to make time during those 4 days for creating content, scheduling content, replying back to people, mailing out orders, just kind of trying to work towards that. And we've also discussed that because some people in our organization are people that experience bleeding, we are going to listen to our bodies. We're going to support that and say, listen, we're taking off because our body is telling us to rest and recharge. So we're going to do the same thing. So there's not going to be anybody working during those periods at this point. And I know that's like very possibly awkward. I still feel awkward kind of talking about it, but we have gotten this idea. I say we, but let's be real, it's me. I got this idea from watching a few content creators that I really like. They're in the metaphysical field. They do a lot of tarot and oracle readings, and they started doing the same thing. They're like, we're working for 3 weeks. We're going to give it our all. But that 1 week that our body is telling us to rest, we're going to rest. We're not looking at social media. We're not adding content. We're not going to record. We're not going to do X, Y, and Z for the business. And honestly, I want to start implementing that, especially now while I'm still growing, so that when I have people joining and taking on, this publishing company as their job, I want them to know, hey, when your body tells you to rest, you let me know and we're going to give you the week. You get the whole week and do what you need to do. Rest, don't do any work. And I think that's going to be a really good standard moving forward. So again, little shaky talking about it. I'm sorry. I will get better with it as we continue to grow and push our stuff a little bit further here. But yeah, for the last tip, understand that burnout is very possible. So take those breaks. You got to put those parameters in place and let people know I'm only operating, Tuesday through Friday, or maybe it looks like Monday through Thursday for you. Whatever it is, and then set certain hours and do not bring work to bed. I have done this too many times because I am kind of a workaholic, but just don't bring it to bed. If you're on your phone late at night and scrolling, do it for you. Do it for your own interactions with friends and family. Don't do it for the business. And yeah, that was probably mostly for me, but I at least wanted to put it out there. And hopefully this helps somebody that is looking into starting a business, or maybe this just helps you out with getting ideas for a community that you want to build and form and create. Or hopefully that this sounds good enough and you want to volunteer some time with my company and help me grow it so that I can get it to a place where I can pay people for their time and energy. But with that, I am so glad that I was able to talk to everybody this week. I can't wait to record more updates, especially with the fall magazine. Uh, I've got a few more video ideas and podcast ideas, and I cannot wait to release them because some of them are going to have videos, like actual videos you can watch instead of just seeing a nice banner that says the Greystone Manor. But with that, have a wonderful rest of your Friday or weekend or whatever day that you're listening to this. And I will catch you all next week. Bye.